This is Canada, but depending on who you ask, it's either India 2.0 or Khalistan 2.0.
What's the worst place in the GTA?
Brampton.
Do you realize you smell like absolute shit?
Do you want them deported?
It's just that, they took over.
Over the past decade, Canada's undergone one of the biggest demographic shifts in the Western world. From Brampton, now nicknamed Browntown, to the growing Punjabi communities in British Columbia, Indian immigration has reshaped the country's identity. This was not by accident. Canada's got ambitious plans. They want 100 million people by 2100 to keep the economy growing. During COVID, they doubled down. Universities needed international student money, businesses needed workers. India, with its massive English-speaking, educated population that loves to have kids, was the perfect match. But this rapid change has brought challenges. Housing prices have doubled, jobs are scarce, and cultural clashes have sparked tension. Canada, once known for its politeness, hilarious politicians, and progressive values, now grapples with growing xenophobia. Recent polls show 60% of Canadians favor reducing immigration. Very ironic, considering this nation brags about being built by immigrants. This shift has had massive political consequences. Justin Trudeau's resignation and the rise of Pierre Poilievre, often compared to Donald Trump, reflect the growing discontent. Meanwhile, political tensions from India have spilled into Canada, like the 2022 assassination of a renowned Khalistan activist, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Try saying that last name 3 times fast at an NAACP conference. Many believe this, among other violent acts, was sanctioned directly by India, raising questions about why such conflicts are playing out on Canadian soil. Today, we're cutting through the headlines to understand what's really going on. Is this the takeover, some claim, or something more complex? Let's start in Brampton, a highlight of Canada's great immigration debate, and hear from the people living this change, both locals and newcomers. Here's what they have to say.
But the Indians that have come in like the last 10, maybe 15 years, it's just made things a whole lot worse when it comes to jobs, when it comes to the housing market. It's really hard to get jobs now, to be honest. On top of that, you'll see like 5, 10 of them in the same house. Like they do that now. I have renters and like we have to put little descriptions. You can only have like 3 guys in the room. And then all of them pool their money and get the same car. Canada has a really low population north side. So Trudeau is trying to get like immigrants to go really up north. Browntown is Browntown over here. We have like in our school we probably have like 15, 20 white people at max. Like it's just rough. It's mainly just brown people.
And what was it before?
Back then most of browns were
balanced. Yeah,
it was balanced. It was very balanced.
Like in Indian, what are some of the cultural differences that you've noticed from some of the immigrants that maybe you're around?
I mean, they always try to, push it out. Their culture and stuff, it's cool. It's not a big thing. It's just like they do it a lot.
All the Garba festivals.
Some people have it on their cars, Khalistan or something, or like they just have their country, something like that.
Oh wow, okay, damn. Is this Trudeau's fault?
Yeah, low key, I think so, just a little bit. I don't know. He just really he brought in too much too quickly. I think that's the problem with it.
You think Canada's fucked over?
Maybe if the immigration slows down to a point where like jobs start coming back and everything, because it's really hard to get jobs right now.
These young men were really insightful about issues they honestly shouldn't be facing. Fear of their future. I needed to hear more, so I headed to another shopping center. The deeper I went into Brampton, the more obvious the Indian influence became. Indians waiting at bus stops, ads of Remax realtors into stars, and Indian restaurants or visa offices on every corner. I wanted more perspective. The first person I met was a longtime resident with a starkly different opinion from the teens, an older white liberal. He agreed to talk, but only if we kept the camera off of him.
So what are some of the experiences that you've had, or like some of the things that you've noticed over the years with recent Indian immigration here?
You know what, to be honest, I only see things in a superficial way as far as changes. I haven't really seen a lot of changes.
What do you have to say to the people that say immigration is just terrible? 60% of Canadians now oppose mass immigration, and it's like a far cry from a few years ago. Most Canadians were welcoming as many immigrants as possible. What do you have to say to them?
We're not replacing ourselves here, so we do need people. So it's short-sighted to say, I got here, but you can't come in.
The problem with this guest? It was hard to find many others like him to really hear from, especially in Brampton. For him, immigration is not a problem, it's a solution, but the majority of others I interviewed didn't quite agree, as many were personally affected by immigration.
So you've seen how the waves of immigration has changed in Canada, dating back from the 70s, 80s to now.
Yeah, I grew up with my parents because it was Pierre Trudeau, and so I'm a first-generation Canadian. They came originally from Guyana, and so back then they were letting in all these different cultures from all over the place, but it was sparse clandestinely and then bringing it into the economy. And so there was a lot of opportunities. I find right now it's a lot, and the floodgates have opened to the point that we're not taking care of our own. So the time back then, the opportunities were more, you had a lot more opportunities here, where I find now everything is a little more scarce. And I think definitely where we look at population and understanding.
Notice like the positives of immigration. It seems like a lot of Canadians that are not in favor of immigration are getting jaded and forgetting about the positives.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So again, I grew up in a time in the 80s, we had people from India and they were Sikh, and then we had Muslims, and then, my parents are Hindu, I'm more spiritual. Again, we connected. We weren't so segregated back then. Everybody was, there was more.
Why Brampton? Why are there so many Indians here? What they call it Browntown.
I feel like we just got that reputation just because everyone from outside, all the international students from India, they kind of migrated here because if you look at Canada as a whole, in Brampton, it's kind of a hub. We have all the gurdwaras here, we have infrastructure here, and a lot of families, Indian families, Punjabi families in specific, so they all pretty much cater towards coming to Brampton rather than, Guelph or, Cambridge or anywhere on the outside cities.
How do you feel about the whole mass immigration issue?
I would say, I noticed it a little bit before COVID. Even my own cousins and my own relatives have come from India, but they came the right way. They came the right educational way, and they went through it back in 2015, 2014, and throughout the 2010s, right? Now, I'm hearing a lot of people are coming in on, it doesn't matter what their background is, they're frauding high school, they're just giving it out for free. And, just false certified people just taking up Canadian jobs. That's also another problem. Like my brother's in high school right now and he's not getting no job. There was a time where, you can get a minimum wage job, right? Save up a little bit, do whatever you want. And you can't even get that now. They're taking up our jobs. It's not fair because we did it the right way and other people are just coming here and trashing it. They're treating it like they do in India. They don't leave that stuff behind. They bring new stuff here.
Yeah, speaking of leaving stuff behind, I hear there's been like a lot more clashes with Punjab Sikhs versus Hindus. There's like Khalistan supporters.
Where it happened at the incident at the Mandir. So
what was that incident?
We were peacefully protesting. I wasn't there or anything. I'm not partaking in that. But we just because of 1984, Punjab 1984, we protest every year. At one of either it's in the embassy in Toronto, or it's at the Mandir, or at a place of religion, anything like that, right?
Like the Hare Krishna thing?
There you go. And we just it's just peaceful protesting, and then it turned into a clash. I don't support that. Me, just peace. Everything should be good, bro. We should all love each other. It should be like that.
Why are they bringing this to Canada?
I'm confused on that too. Even when it comes to Diwali, they banned the fireworks for that same reason. Because in India, you do it openly. You can go to the normal street, just let off fireworks, right?
Yeah.
Here, they go to Trinity Common, did the same thing. That's why the police and the government's putting bans on this stuff. I don't support it either. See, I'm not taught that. And my parents also came from India. They could have done the same thing, but they didn't, right? So it's the people that are a little bit ill-minded. They just bring the stuff from back home all the way here. They ruin the stuff here.
What do you think could better the image of Indians here? Canadians are now heavily not supporting immigration compared to 8 years ago.
Yeah. Trudeau even said it at the start. He said he's going to immigrate skilled workers and stuff. He should have stuck on that, not just completely open the border. And in terms of just overall image-wise, our image is kind of being ruined as well because I'm born here and stuff, but people definitely look at me, go like, oh, there's so many of you here, and you just get that ill feeling. But, we should switch up. You're in a new country. You left India. India has poor conditions. So you're not really taught well. It's not clean. There's a whole bunch of things to it. And then when they come here, they have all the cars. They have, they just go to work, take up every job. They treat it like India, but you have to adapt to the culture here.
What are the things that you see in particular negative besides like jobs and things? Do you see some of the stories where people are saying, okay, there's 50 Indians in one house, or, they're working this job, or they're working under the table and they're screwing everyone over?
It's an issue everywhere. They're trying to give landlords licenses as well now and permits for keeping tabs on who's actually living in the home. That's a big problem. And I've actually sold a house, and the neighbor was telling me, there's like 30 people in this house. They don't have cars, and they all pretty much just take up a space. The landlord is making more than his mortgage, and he's just doing his own thing. The house is full. And see, even with the car situation, what people do here is they pretty much, it's a group of people, 3-4 people. They work jobs, they work odd jobs, warehouse, whatever the case is. And they pretty much split payments on a car. Let's say the payment's $1,000. You split it down the middle between 4 people, 5 people, and they all just share the car.
In America, in our elections, we sort of believe like, okay, immigrants are only brought here because Democrats want to naturalize them and stay in power forever. Do you think Trudeau's going to end up doing the same thing? Because it looks like he's losing.
The way he's bringing people in, they're not skilled, and it's just people with no good background, no good history. They're just coming here and just making a mess, pretty much.
People are comparing, I forgot his name, Poilievre, the other candidate, they're comparing him to Donald Trump. You think that's a good or bad thing?
I don't think we should compare. It just sets a false kind of persona. So I would say let's see what he does when he gets into office, because he might just be doing it for votes, and he will get elected. I'm 100% positive. I think I'm going to be voting him as well. But the thing is, you can't just say that stuff and say Trudeau's doing this. You gotta actually implement something. We'll see. When the elections come up and he gets elected, let's see if he does something.
For sure. And you think Canada's screwed?
Canada is 100% screwed. We are.
I've been here since 10 years old.
Yeah, so I'm here with
Mickey.
So you've been in Brampton for how long?
Since like 2000.
So you've seen like this place change.
Yeah, I've seen it all, bro. When I moved to Brampton, this was never here, bro. This is probably farm where we're standing. You know what I'm saying?
We're in like a shopping center now.
Ever since the last 5 years, I would say Brampton and Canada in general, to be honest, has deteriorated.
Is this because of one specific group from the Indians?
Like, I can't say it's Indians. Like, you gotta look at the top. Can't blame like a certain people. You gotta look at the top and what they're doing, like Trudeau or whoever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really a political guy. I don't really get into politics like that. And voting for, you know what I'm saying, whatever. I mean, I said my own. This is my opinion.
What's your job?
So I'm a damage prevention technician. I do something called damage prevention. Basically, I mark out the gas lines and the hydro lines and electrical lines, whatever lines that's underground before any construction company can come in and dig.
This is a highly skilled job.
Yeah, it's highly skilled. Yeah, for sure.
One thing that
lives are on the line. Yeah, for sure.
One thing that I've been hearing is, one complaint is, okay, Trudeau was bringing in skilled workers from India in particular.
Yeah.
But it seems like
they're taking my job, bro. I'm telling you, like that's what's happening. Like, I hate to be frank, you know what I'm saying? But the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year guy is more valuable than me now in the winter. I'm valuable in the summer when the work is there, because I can do 3-4 times the work more than a 1-2 year guy, because I got the experience. But because I get paid a lot more than them, I'm not valuable in the winter when the company slows down. And that's not just happening in my field. That's happening everywhere. My dad is laid off right now.
That's ridiculous. I'm assuming he's older.
My pop's been doing his job 25 years. He's laid off right now.
In America, there's a lot of parallels, too. Like, we hear a lot of this stuff like, okay, back in the day, it used to be, all right, Mexicans were taking our jobs, so no, we don't want the Mexicans here. Yeah. I feel like public opinion's changed. You feel like that's ever going to happen with Indians? You feel like Canadians are going to move on someday? Because right now, it's 60%.
They're making the steps right now, yeah. Because I've been kind of following it up on YouTube, like on the news a little bit. Trudeau and Poilievre, and how Poilievre is kind of... it's like a rap battle, bro, between those guys. Like, it's funny. Like, it's funny to watch them. Yeah, like, I just been seeing Trudeau kind of trying to win back the people, because I think the election's coming up, so he's making a lot of changes immigration-wise. I'm saying he's, I guess he's finally seeing what's happening. And like, he's doing a lot of stuff right now, and it's kind of slapping people in the face. Like, he's taking off GST, like, like a certain tax that you got to pay on certain food. He's trying to do all these little things. Like, if you make 100,000 or less, you're gonna get a check or $250. I feel like that's a slap in the face, bro, to people, because like that's clearly like you trying to say I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I fucked up. So, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, bro. All politicians, like I said, are liars, bro.
So you're blaming this more so, you're not putting this on Indians. I feel like Canadians in general are looking at the Indians themselves.
Yeah.
You're putting this more on like Trudeau.
I'm putting this, it's a combination. It's a combination, because I'm not saying, bro, like I said, like, I love my Indian people. Right? And it's just like, the way that they do things, from what I see, they're together. Like, they only put their own people on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, like I seen a job ad the other day in Brampton, and you had to know how to speak Punjabi to get the job. That's unheard of, bro. Never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
You got to speak Punjabi in Canada to get a job.
We totally forgot about French. You think Canada's cooked in the future?
To be honest, I don't know. I can't see the future, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say it, to be honest. But for me, I'm having my first child actually in a month.
Congrats.
Due actually December 31st. And I'm actually here only in Canada because I'm having kids right now. Like, I want my kids to, have their Canadians, whatever, you know what I mean? Their
Citizenship and all that,
all that, right? So, like, that's the only reason I'm actually here. Me and my wife, we actually want to leave. We're planning on leaving.
Everyone wants to leave.
Yeah, we're gonna, It's either that or we buy a house in, like, the countryside to move away from people.
Yeah, that's boring, you know what I mean? Like, this is your country. You've been here all your life.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, man. It's a weird feeling, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we should be, like, a lot of people in my age, like, we should be doing well in life. You know what I mean? Like, even with a great job, bro, it's hard to do well right now.
I don't think
Brampton's 87% Indian, so... 87%.
Yeah, why though? Why do they all pick Brampton?
It's a big number. I mean, like, you gotta understand, like, in India, like they don't say they're coming to Canada, man. They say they're coming to Brampton. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know what Canada is. They know what Brampton is. That's my opinion. Brampton is it's still a good place. I mean, it's still a good opportunity. It's just that they took over. Just like many other people have taken over other cities.
Just Brampton.
Yeah,
and Toronto and
but Indians are, like, I think they're the number one people in the world, no, in terms of population.
People,
right?
yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really avoid them too.
I learned that. I've been traveling all year. You always see an Indian.
For the most part, bro, they're good people. Like, from what I've experienced, the energy you get is what you give. You know what I'm saying? So people are people, bro.
To get an even more broad perspective, I tried speaking with businesses and immigration offices.
We don't want to give you.
Give me what?
We don't want to give you any kind of answers about this thing.
Why not?
It's our choice. This is the rules of the company.
No, it's not. You have something in your rule book that says, hey, if someone comes asking you questions about immigration in Canada and literal issues that are affecting you day to day, someone came and asked you a question about it, you can't answer. That's what it says in the rule book?
But many were reluctant or outright hostile when it came time to talk. At job offices, I noticed many Indian workers who couldn't speak English, and when I asked questions, I was told to leave. I looked at the job board and saw skilled positions like welding and truck driving. Why aren't these opportunities being broadcasted to Canadians? Some believe outsourcing these jobs to foreigners with less stringent hiring requirements and poor quality training are putting lives at risk, all to save money and pay lower wages. On the other hand, at the RE/MAX office next door, it was clear they're thriving. A huge, luxurious building with marble floors and private offices. It's like we're in Beverly Hills. Brampton's average home price is nearing $1 million CAD, rivaling California's housing market. So these guys are raking it in. When I asked the Seek agent about the housing prices off camera, he said supply in general is the issue, not Indians. With high interest rates and inflation, it's no wonder Canadians are angry. They can't afford homes in their own country. He also told me Brampton is 90% Indian, but it's not a takeover. Sounds like one to me. Brampton, a growing suburb, is a microcosm of the challenges facing Canada. But as I shifted to downtown Toronto, it felt like a different world. The contrast was stark. Yet the issues in Brampton are a warning sign for the rest of the GTA. To understand how even city folk feel about these changes, I spoke with CJ, and he doesn't hold back.
Yeah, so how do you feel about the phrase that Indians are taking over Toronto?
Well, I hate to say, to put a label on it, to say that Indians are just coming and taking over, but that's realistically what's actually happening. They're taking all of our jobs when they come over here. They're making it so, or no, not they, Justin Trudeau is making it so he's bringing in all the immigrants that shouldn't even be over here. They're taking our jobs, they're taking Toronto housing, and they're making it more of a difficult process where even if after all the immigrants came over here and we're trying to adjust to what's happening, they're still making it more difficult by adding more restrictions.
Do you feel like he's more of the problem than the actual Indians?
100%. Because think about it like this. If you're gonna, because you know the saying, if you give someone an inch, they'll take a mile. Justin Trudeau didn't give them a mile. He gave them our entire land, basically, for them to come over. And it's funny too, because I don't even disagree with the Indians wanting to come here, because it would make sense of why they would want to come here for more money and more opportunities. It's Justin Trudeau's problem because he's trying to make it more like in North Korea, where it's like a dictatorship type of thing. Like you've seen in interviews and him on CP24 even say it himself that he wants Toronto and Canada to be more like them in North Korea.
You know, so you think Poitievre is like the answer?
Say that again?
The guy who's running against Trudeau, the conservative guy.
Pierre, I think his name.
Pierre, yeah.
I hate to say this because I don't really speak into politics, but he is only a solution right now, if that makes any sense. Like, yes, he's better than Justin Trudeau, but the same type of hidden agenda that he has, he's not really that much better. Because the one main thing I would say that's bad about Justin Trudeau right now is that, especially like in Canada, our inflation because you would know, you're from the US. With our inflation's up to the roof right now, like with everything. Like everything is getting taxed as much as they possibly can. It's kind of like Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, where it's like Donald Trump is more open of a person and he's more like talking how he feels. And now with Kamala Harris, she may want to fix shit, but she has more of like a hidden agenda of what she's actually trying to do. Donald Trump, if you look statistically, because I'm not really a fan of him, but if you look statistically in office, he has done better than everyone else. He's done better than Obama. He's done better than Biden. He did better than like a lot of them statistically. You just don't really, or not you specifically, but like us as people, we don't really like him for his vocal points and what he says and all that.
What particularly like are the Indians doing? Because some people tell me like, okay, Indians are weird, they're doing stuff like at the hospitals, they're eating on the floor and all that. Like, what if you notice that's negative?
What I've noticed that's negative is they're taking an opportunity that they've been given and they're taking it for granted, because they easily could have not got access over here. They could have stayed wherever they were. But instead of being grateful about it, they're just moving like they are entitled to it and they deserve it. They're doing weird stuff like being on the bus, being super like weird where it's like they're sitting on the floor, they're putting food all around like windows, I heard on the one TTC. Like they're doing weird shit. And even with their children now, if as a parent, you want to teach your children what's right and wrong between both of them, but since all the parents are acting and don't have no home training and they just act weird and do like outlandish things, their children go and copy and paste it.
Do you want them deported or do you just want immigration curbed?
I just want it to make it where it makes sense. I heard you can become a citizen within like 6 months of being here or some shit. That's like ridiculous. I've lived here my entire life. You 100% should at least be here for a grace period of 3 years to 5. And if you want to start getting statuses and all that, you have to be here for a year and a half at least. 6 months is ridiculous.
I feel it.
CJ's frustrations reflect a growing sentiment in urban centers, where the impact of immigration is felt differently, but no less intensely. What about the Indians themselves? How do they feel about the criticisms they face?
Indians taking over Canada. Do you think that's like a legitimate statement?
I mean, I wouldn't say that Indians are taking over Canada just because the government allowed all these students to be here, right? Like, we are not here forcibly. I got my visa and it just took me around 20 days to get my visa to be here and be an international student. So I would really object to the sentence when people say like just Indians are encroaching to Canada. Yeah, like I never pretend around here because like the atmosphere at our school is really good, but at the same time, like in the beginning when I changed here, like the culture is so different around here. It took me some time to adapt to act in certain way, like nothing wrong in a manner to change my personality or something, but there's a way of talking around here that you need to fit in because it's not same in India. Like in India, like most of us like have a little bit of rough language when we talk with even our friends or like our peers or something. That is something that we need to keep a check on here because people might get offended sometimes. But yeah, majorly like for me, like I don't need to like act differently to be part of a community. People are way too welcoming, at least at school. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you noticed? Because I hear a lot of stuff about Indians being weird, you know? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, they're going to the hospital and they're eating their food on the floor or they're walking around barefoot in class, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like, I've never seen it.
I think it's mainly stereotype because not everybody does that. To be honest, people might have noticed Indian doing all those stuff, but it's again like it's a part of our culture, right? So I would say like I myself has, you know, experience many people when I'm just walking by on the sidewalk or something, like people do pass comments and you do realize that they're talking about you because I have been part of some racist encounters as well, like especially with homeless people. Like I have had few encounters where a homeless person has chased me and has slurred you know, a bunch of racial stuff at me. So that was alarming and, you know, threatening at the same time because you can't do much here. Even the self-defense laws are crazy here. Yeah. I'm not getting into that. But yeah, sometimes some people can be racist right up on your face and you can't do anything about it.
Why did you come to Canada?
Oh, so ideally I would love to go to the States, but the education here is cheaper than States, and at the same time the program that I chose, like it was so much hands-on, and like it would help me move up on my field. Like I've come from a film background. I used to be a video editor back in India for TV commercials, and I wanted to get into films, and like this is a really good place to be at to learn filmmaking. So that was my main reason to just select George Brown particularly for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
To get married, settle up and all that stuff. You can't do that in Canada because the cost of living is so high. You can't start a family here because like even the education for your child, even though if you are a PR or a citizen, it's loads. So like, yeah, I would definitely plan on moving out after a certain amount of time, after building my portfolio. Yep.
Speaking of cost of living, I'll see stories about, okay, international students are taking under the table jobs for $8,000 an hour, working at like a pizza store or something, and they're living in like these shared houses where it's 50 Indian people in one.
So yeah.
So you live in these. So you're like just a regular student, regular guy. Or do you have to do anything like to like under the table to get money or stay in like weird places?
As of now, I don't have any job. But I do know people who do under the table work for like $8 an hour. So yeah, it is way too common for people to do that. And I know for a fact, like it's not just us Indian doing all those under the table jobs. It's like I know some people who are Latino who do the same. I know some people who belong to the black community and they do the same as well. So I do believe that we have to do it because there are not enough job opportunities for us international students as well.
They're telling me like, yeah, I can't find a job. My brother can't find a job. Trudeau said that he's only importing skilled workers, but I can't even find like a part-time job at McDonald's.
In order to have these many peoples, including like all the immigrants, the international students, the refugees, there should have been like, a proper way of disposing all those people as well in the Canadian community. Because right now it is all concentrated. Like even if we see downtown, like the St. James Park, man, it was so empty.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was so empty like during our first year. But now you can see there are so many tents over there.
Why is all the blame placed on Indians?
I guess it's because like Indians have been part of the Canadian community for a longer period of time, because I know for a fact like there are so many Indians who have been here for past more 20 to 30 years, and now like at this point there are so many Indians in this community, right? Like every other, like out of 10, like you would see 6 people Indian around, and even in downtown, right? So I think because of the concentration of people in the area, like let's say about Brampton as well, like it's dominated with us brown people, right? So I guess just because of that, people believe that Indians are so much dominated over here.
Why did you come to Canada?
Oh, so ideally I would love to go to the States, but the education here is cheaper than States. The program that I chose, like it was so much hands-on, and like it would help me move up on my field. Like I've come from a film background. I used to be a video editor back in India for TV commercials, and I wanted to get into films, and like this is a really good place to be at to learn filmmaking. Punjabi community wanted their own country as well, because like Muslims got it, why not us? And like the people who believed in that particular getting a different country, those people are called Khalistan, because they wanted to name
Only that. And the reason why I came to Canada was to study film, because I have heard that Canada, North America has good film experience. So Canada was the first place, and then the second base would be the US. I am from Delhi, and Delhi is super polluted. There's a lot of pollution, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of traffic. Second reason would be the work culture. I love the work culture here because here I have time for myself. Like I have a separate life from work, whereas in Delhi, India, usually people don't really have time for themselves. They are busy with work. Their entire day goes by working. They don't have a life after work. But I also see some Indians here try to impose their culture, which is fine, but then when you disrespect some other culture to impose your culture, that's wrong. And I see it happening sometimes here, but not everybody does it. Like everybody is from different, like everybody has a different way of living life, and it totally depends on the person and not the culture specifically. So yeah.
Chill, they don't want to do it the right way, but it's like you think it's fine if they're all doing it the right way, come in with the right visa.
Exactly, that's what makes a country a better place to live, because if I come from a place where I don't want to do shit and I want to just be here, just linger around, then the country is not gonna grow.
Yeah.
And Canada as a country has invited us for a purpose. They also trust us being as a person, as people, and I feel that they also want us to grow as well as the country to grow. So I feel there should be a balance, and honestly, I completely forgot what you.
What do you say to the Canadians that are blaming Indians opposed to like their own government? Because as you said, Canada invited you all to be here for a specific reason. They wanted skilled workers here. They want to help increase the population, especially during a possible recession.
We are here to help you, and second thing being, not all Indians are like that. There are a bunch of Indians which are super disrespectful of the culture, but there are Indians, like, I respect the Canadian culture more than anything. Back home in India, I wouldn't have ever done that, but right now I'm in a different country. I respect you approaching us to record a video, and then not all Indians are like that. There are people who are bad, there are people who are good. It depends on the people and not the country you're from.
You go to school and in India, like IIT, did you apply to IIT or anything?
To be honest, I was very good at academic in India. I got 93% in 10th standard, and I got 91% in my 12th standard.
Yeah.
So even I got like 95%, I'm not sure I'm gonna get the job. So you see how much competition is over there.
So there we have it. Frustration is brewing in Canada, much of it directed at Trudeau and the Indian community. But let's be honest, would this same vitriol exist if it were mass Chinese, Filipino, or even Ukrainian immigration? Canada's situation is complex, and I'm not sure one person, regardless of political affiliation, can solve these issues overnight. So the question still remains, are Indians taking over Canada? Not really, but sorta. It's complicated. Admittedly, yes, there are a lot of Indians there. Go to Eden Center and you'll even see Indian crackheads. Now there's even rappers that are Indian. Nav isn't alone. With how people react, you'd think it's 1 million Indians per month coming in, but in reality, it's a couple 100,000 at most, total. In 2022, about 118,000 Indians became PRs. That's roughly 27% of all new PRs. Yeah, it's the highest it's ever been, but it may not be the invasion some make it out to be. It may seem like way too much because they're concentrated in big cities, just like the rest of Canada. Canadians aren't just worried about current numbers, it's their trajectory. In a country where only 7% of the land is habitable and housing costs are already destroying young buyers, the math gets uncomfortable. Also, a lot of what you see online is based on pure misconceptions. The internet's become a breeding ground for fake news. This video here shows a guy hauling a table in his car in Brampton. Funny part about this is the video's not even in Canada. Remember that viral story about Indians shitting on Toronto beaches? Completely made up. But people share this stuff without fact checking, and it fuels the fire.
To the mayor, it's a very popular beach, and again, I have no proof.
If Indians are coming to Canada and still facing struggle, exploitation, and a lower quality of life compared to back home, is it really worth the journey? For many, the answer is yeah. Canada is a wonderful country with wonderful people. You can't blame these Indians for seizing the opportunity, even when they resort to diploma mills and fake visas. Now, if there's anything we should be xenophobic and hateful towards in Canada, it's so stupid, annoying, overdone Toronto man's accents. Not like CJ's in the video, but you know who I'm talking about. They sound like dying seals with Down syndrome. Hey, sorry, eh? You're cheesing me, fam. Shorty wants to do the link up thing, eh? Timmy's crowdy. Please, for the love of God, stop doing those dumb accents. Just speak normal. As a Compton native, there's only one person to blame for this nonsense.
Picture just up in his mouth, and I'm about to put my dick in it right now. Then I put it in his ass. Now he running but naked all over my house. I'm about to make him gay tonight. Back shots with both of my hands in his mouth. I know that he want it for real. Good sex with polo socks on mama's couch.